Well, with that, hello. We are having some technical difficulties this morning with the cameras, but we are on, and the most important part is that we're on. For the show, we don't really care about the show opener as much as we do about the content of the show. Welcome to the show, and I am solo today. Christy is here in the building, but she is closing a real estate deal right now, so we gave her a pass. We're important, but putting food on the table with sure stuff, money is more important. So good luck to her getting that deal done. I know she'll do a great job with that. And I just wanted to take a few minutes to tell you that we just finished our very first day of the Successful Speaker Sessions. That was a Monday call, a Tuesday call, a Wednesday calls. This is a new program that I put together for aspiring speakers or anyone who does presentations to get access to me 3 days a week for 1 hour in a group setting, Mondays and Wednesdays at noon, Fridays at 3 p.m. So wherever you are in the country, it's either in the morning or at your lunchtime. If you're in the East Coast, it's lunchtime and the one in the afternoon. But you can jump on a Zoom call. And Mondays, in fact, I got a little screen to share with you to kind of illustrate the schedule for April and to show you exactly what we're talking about on the program here. So we have here's the calendar, and Mic Drop Mondays happen where we wordsmith your speeches, your bios, your intros, your deals, your emails, whatever you're working on that you need some help with the verbiage. Mic Drop Mondays, we're going to have you getting some mic drop moments in your text, in your speeches. That happens Mondays at noon. And you can kind of see here as we just scroll down that it repeats itself. We talk about the same thing every month, every Monday at noon. We wordsmith your speech, we wordsmith your bios, whatever you're working on, your one-pager. Really we just get your words straight. On Tuesdays at 3 are Topical Tuesdays. And as you can see here, we finished our first one yesterday. And if I kind of make this a little bigger, you could see that yesterday we talked about our whys. Why do we want to speak? How badly do we want it? Next week, we'll be talking about problems people have and don't want and finding out which solutions they want but don't have based on your knowledge, your expertise, your industry, your jam. And then we'll work on making sure that we are articulating that you definitely are the person to help them with that. The following week, on the 16th, we're going to be talking on Tuesday at 3 o'clock about what makes you different, which kind of ties into the problem you're solving and the solutions you have for these folks who need it. And so that's what speaking is really all about, is providing solutions to problems people have and don't want, and doing it in a way that's different from anyone else. And so that's where this wordsmithing your speech comes in, really getting it dialed in so that you can articulate how you help people in a way that's different from the other people in your industry, whether you're speaking, you're doing consulting, you're doing anything on the wheel of prose speech, which I could bring up here in a moment and show you about. But we have Ask Us Anything Wednesdays. So today we just finished at noon our Ask Us Anything. In fact, that kind of precipitated the wheel that I'm going to show you next. And we talked about, there's just a lot of ways that we could earn $1 professional speaking. So on Wednesdays, it's Ask Us Anything. And you can see it just goes on in perpetuity. This is the rest of the year. Tuesdays are the only thing that's topical, and we go very, very deep on a topic. But Wednesdays and Mondays are wide open, right? Wide open Wednesdays, Ask Us Anything. Could be anything business related, anything to do with how to keep track of leads, how to do follow-up, anything like that. Or we could do some word stuff too, but really that's for Monday. Monday, we really get deep in the words. So let me come over here really quickly here and show you. Let's see, this is my Canva. Let's see, April calendar, pro speaking wheel. I just want to give you this just because it came up today. We talked about it, and why not? Why not show it on the show? about how we can earn money speaking. So in pro speaking vernacular, there are 10 spokes. There's really 9 spokes and then the hub of things we can do to earn money. And so let's just go through them really quick. Of course, this is the down and dirty version. It's just the Canva version. I make this into a PDF and PowerPoints and do a bunch of cool slide stuff with them. But if we're talking about making money from individuals, professional speaking wise, we're talking about intellectual property. What is intellectual property? Well, it's anything we do concerning books. We can sell books. We can do YouTube shows and like this, right? Where you're probably watching me on right now on YouTube. This is my intellectual property that I'm creating. And if enough people watch this, I'll make money from YouTube. And I'll make money from people who see this and want to do business with me. I'll make money from sponsors who are going to pay to be on the show, like Coaching Done Better is a sponsor. So it's all from my intellectual property. It's not anything I've actually selling you a product. I'm selling you my intellectual property, my intellect. But you can create e-courses. Professional speakers have e-courses. Social media posts and live streaming. Again, what we're doing right now across all the channels is live streaming. And hopefully with the exposure and you become like a thought leader, right? You become the expert by being in front of more people, saying the same thing over and over as you go on with time. People then start to trust you, trust you. And so that's how you make money with intellectual property, being a professional speaker. You can also do webinars. And there are a couple of different kind of webinars. There are live webinars that you're going to do, and it's not very interactive. It's not like a Zoom channel where you're having interaction. It's more you talking to a group of people and showing slides and really becoming the expert that way. You could also have pre-recorded. We call those evergreen webinars. So you do it once and you record it, and then you just keep putting it out and people just watch the same one over and over. And there are some AI tools that actually make your pre-recorded webinar seem very real to the people watching it. It's still interactive. They can see their names in the chat when you ask the person. If anyone on here has done this or has heard of this, put a 1 in the chat. If you haven't, put a 2. And when people put a 1 or a 2, no matter if they're watching it after the live event, if they're watching a pre-recorded event, they can still see their name and they can see other 1s pop in and they can see their 1 pop in or their 2. So it's pretty neat. It's pretty cool stuff out there. A little tricky, a little deceptive, but neat nonetheless. And of course, there's a hybrid where you could do it live, record it, and then put it back out there. So there's lots of different ways to do webinars. Of course, making money from individuals, from challenges. Today was the day 3 of the CRM Done Better, or the Business Done Better challenge, where it was 3 days to take your business to the next level as far as marketing. And so Rebecca was on there for 3 days and gave us all these great challenges. She had a VIP sale, so the challenge was free. It was webinar based, so it was, even though it was on Zoom, it was treated like a webinar where she spoke to us and showed us the slides and then asked us for our input on the chat, much like a webinar. Then the VIP upsell, so the challenge was free. The upsell was $47 or $97 to have an hour before each of the hours that she gave to everyone, to ourselves, just to help us individually with the challenge items that she was giving us. So that's pretty neat. It was a neat experience. Glad I went through it. And of course, you got your big back end, as Michelle Villalobos talks about, where she had a big offer at the end, a $70,000 package that she got down to as low as $8,000, I believe, which if you had a one-time payment for a year worth of done with you, done for you, CRM Done Better, Coaching Done Better, profile, just a whole bunch of stuff. So that's how webinars work. That's how people make money, professionally speaking, with their intellectual property via webinars. Okay, so that's 2 ways out of 10. The next way is communities. Just like I'm building here, by doing this show, I translate some of these folks over to my successful speaker program, which I showed you a little bit ago, the calendar of events. So people pay $97 a month to belong to that community, but they get me for an extended amount of time, 12 to 15 hours a month, 3 days a week, an hour a day for 3 days a week, talking about very specific things in their speaking business. That's a community that we're building, and I'm going to be earning money off of that community, not necessarily coaching. This is a deal sharing. Coaching is a separate wheel item that's going to come up, and that's group coaching. But this is more of a community I'm building where we all contribute to each other during those 3 hours. Of course, I lead it, hence the upsells that come from the community to the private one-to-one coaching, which again, I'll show you here on another wheel. But that all comes and stems from these communities. And where do you build them? Facebook has an option now where you can actually charge to belong to a group. So if you are somebody who's got a big following and you do a special group that you put together where they can all chat with each other, and they get to see you at locations once in a while, or you give them some free content, they pay for that community on Facebook group. Also, that's a huge thing on Twitch and on Discord. Picture, I think it's called Patri. I forget the name of it. It starts with a P. You probably know it. Probably seen it a bunch of times. Patreon, right? Those are communities where people are seeing your content, your intellectual content, and then they're paying you through Patreon, which is a community-based or a gateway, really, of them giving you money. So that's the way we make money in our communities. The next way is, obviously, with individuals, is coaching. Now, this is different from having intellectual property, webinars, communities. This is literally taking somebody's business down to the foundation, doing an assessment to see what elements they need help in, and if you're a good fit to help them improve those elements, you give them a price per month, you meet X number of times or minutes or hours per week, and you help them improve their business. Many times, the assessment will have a monetary guide on that assessment to show you that if you work with me, I will get your business to here. The baseline is, let's say it's 150,000 and you want to make it to 500,000. And by year 3, you want to make it to 1 million. Well, we'll have these ways to check through the assessments that you are making money from the coaching, directly from the coaching. This has earned you this much money. And that way we can validate what we're charging. So the better coaches, better assessments have a monetary tracker to show you a 1-to-1 ratio of you made this money from this coaching and I only charge this much, so you've got a deal. And that keeps the coaching contracts going longer. But anyway, there's that 1-to-1 coaching, individual coaching. There's group coaching, all right? And that's kind of an element of my Coaching Done Better successful speaker program. It's kind of like a group coaching program where if nobody's kind of taking the lead, well, of course, it's my program. I kind of take the lead, give my input, but I definitely like that element of the cohort element, the mastermind element. And so this is the last one for individuals. So you make intellectual property, webinars, communities, coaching. I showed you all the things like that. But here's the most important part. Because it is, hold on, this is not easy as the others thing. Because it's individual, it's geared to individuals, you've got some downsides there. What are the downsides with coaching individuals? Well, you need a lot of them to make any money. So you're constantly in the pond fishing for another client to add to the group and then trying to upsell those groups to one-to-ones. You're constantly trying to build your communities. You're going to have churn. You're going to have poor influences on there that you need to get rid of, and you kind of have to shepherd that part of your community. And it's a lot. It's a lot of work. Now, the upside is you get to meet a lot of people. You get maybe a lot of referrals from this. And if a few people drop off here and there, it doesn't kill your business because the churn is built into it. It's part of the work. But it is a lot of work. It's all those plates spinning all the time. So how do we avoid that? How do we avoid that? Well, you go to corporations. Go to bigger pockets to get bigger dollars, right? So corporation wheel, what does this one look like? It's got training. What do corporations need? They need their people trained, okay? So what kind of training do corporations need? Well, they need all kinds of training. If you're good at sales, you could be a sales trainer. You could be a marketing trainer. You could be an HR trainer, people trainer. How about DEI? How about growth and technical training? Of course, anything you could think of, if a corporation has it, you could train them. So that's how you make money as a professional speaker, training in corporations where the dollars are much, much bigger. The next one, by the way, you could also do these kind of trainings in person or virtual these days. A lot of corporations are open to you training their people virtually in small groups. So I wanted to put that out there. The next level from training is workshops. So what's the difference between training and workshops? Basically, everything that I talked about in training, you can apply it to a workshop. However, training is usually 2 or 3 hours, maybe a half day, maybe a full day with a segment of your employees. A workshop is usually 2 or 3 days. It's usually offsite, and it's usually either all your workforce, at least that do that, like all your sales team or all your marketing team, or might be just all the executives, but it's offsite and you're working on something very specific. It's not just training, ongoing training, maintenance training, training on a new product. Workshopping is taking something very specific, going very deep, maybe a day, 2, 3 days. Definitely you want to do these offsite and in person if possible. Can you do it virtually? Yes, but they're not going to be as impactful, in my opinion. What else can we do with corporations? Well, we can do consulting. So consulting isn't training, it's not workshops. It's looking at something like a bid process or a meeting that they have coming up, a bid maybe to go and present to a panel, and you're going to consult them on their pitch, right? You can walk them through it. Ray Leon calls it his murder board. He murder boards their sales pitch before they go pitch it in front of a committee. So that is consulting work. It's training, but it's consulting. Different degree. You can also facilitate, which means you might be at a meeting and you're not coaching or training and you're not giving your 2 cents. You're just making sure the meeting stays on point. It doesn't go off the tracks. You're in charge of kind of timekeeping and making sure everyone's sharing and saying the right things, and you just carry the meeting forward. You make sure we stay on topic. You make sure that there's a middle, an end, that's a follow-up, that it's captured right. You're the facilitator, so you can facilitate meetings. It could be between 2 people or 100 people. Because it gets that big, we start calling it emceeing instead of facilitating, but you get the drift. And then finally, for corporations, you can do retreats, which are team building exercise, usually at a fun place over a weekend. You get to travel. So retreats are a lot of fun if you do retreats for corporations. Now, we talked about the downside of having to chase all those individuals for money and the upside of corporations having more money, but the mirror image or the opposite side of the coin is true for this one. You may only need one account, but if that account drops you, boy, it's going to wipe you out for a while. You're not going to have anybody to replace them unless you do. So Ray Leon recommends getting multiple corporate clients, but one of them is your anchor client. One of them is a client that pays all your bills all year for all your overhead. The rest of the clients you have, it's just gravy, it's butter. You go out there, you make a lot of money, but you have that one anchor client that's not going anywhere, right? That's the one that's really got you held down. I like to call them a buoy client or a freedom client, because an anchor, you tie your anchor to, or you tie your boat to a buoy, you stop moving, right? Where a freedom client allows you the freedom to go work for other people and cover your fund money, where your anchor or your freedom client allows you to make sure that you have your overhead covered. So just a bit of vernacular difference, but I hope you see the difference. Now, what size company are you working for? Again, I'm going to go back to Ray. Ray says, you better to be a part of a line item than the line item. So what does that mean? It means, quite frankly, if I'm working for a training for Superior Lawn, which is my son's company, you better believe that Coaching Done Better is going to be right there on the line that says training employees on doing X, Y, Z when it comes time to do the tax return or the P&Ls. I am the line item, Jeremy Torres. So when the money crunch comes in and they start looking through their P&L and they see Jeremy Torres training, I'm gone. But what if I'm training for the Michelin Tire Company, a global company, and I am one little part of one little region training, one little team of something? Well, now I'm in a line item marked training. And when they open that line item, there's probably hundreds of trainers in there. So when belts have to be tightened, if I'm over delivering my value, they're going to keep me over other trainers. So that's what I mean by, and that's what Ray means by, you'd rather be in a line item than the line item. You want to work for larger companies that bulletproof you from being axed if the money starts getting tight in many cases. So if you could do that for corporations, why couldn't you do it for organizations? Why couldn't you do it for associations? Why couldn't you do it for government organizations? So it's not just corporations that need training and workshops and consulting and facilitating and retreats. All of these other entities you could be doing work for. Now we're 21 minutes into this. I'm sure you're asking, but Jeremy, where do you make money speaking on a stage? Well, that's the number 10 item. That's the center of my hub. My center of the hub is my keynote, because any stage I'm on is going to have individuals, it's going to have companies, it's going to have associations, it's going to have government folks who need retreats, who like my intellectual property, who want to see my website, who want to be part of my community, who want to get me coaching their people in their business, who want me training, workshopping, and consulting their companies or their associations. All of that feeds from the center hub, keynotes. So if you're the type of person that says, I don't like retreats, I know the first thing about it, I hate organization, I hate bugs, I'm never going to go camping, well then fine, don't do retreats. You've got 8 other things that you could do from your hub, from your number 10 spot, from the stage. You can push your intellectual property, you can push your workshops, you can push your community, you can push your one-to-one coaching if that's really what you like to do. Doesn't have to mean you have to do all the spokes, but those are the things that are available to us as speakers. And again, the center spoke for me is keynoting. It's what I love to do the best, and that gives me access to all of those other folks. So in closing, I hope that you learned a lot today about how folks in my industry make money from all those different spokes, and how the hub of it is professional speaking on stage with a microphone in hand. That's really where I shine the most, working with people like yourself. If you're interested, coachingdonebetter.com, jeremytorres.com, Jeremy Torres got coach, or Jeremy at Coaching Done Better. Hit me up, DM me on this platform. We can help you, your company, your organization get better and improve every single day. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk again on Monday or tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. I think it's Wednesday.